All right, 40 days through the Bible, day 39. This was Colossians through the book of Hebrews. And in the 10th chapter of Hebrews, it says, "It is a dreadful thing to fall into the hands of the living God." And this comes at the end of a passage talking about people who are rejecting and are against God, right? And for the longest time in my life, I always thought that this verse pretty much only was making reference to people like that, people who are against God actively, right? And so it's a dreadful thing to fall into the hands of the living God if you are rejecting him and are against him and are like his enemy, right? And then the more that I've grown and matured, and the more that I've walked out living with Christ, I've come to understand that this verse applies to all the people that I thought it didn't apply to as well. Like it applies to me when I am living submitted and living actively seeking how to follow after God and how to live with what he has for me and in what he has for me. And it is still this thing where even in that case, and sometimes even more in that case, it is a dreadful thing to fall into the hands of the living God, because when you fall into the hands of the living God, not out of rebellion, but out of submission, you are always brought to the place where Jesus says, "Take up your cross and follow me." And taking up your cross is always taking up the thing that will cause the death of you, right? And so for so long, I thought that this was not a thing that applied to me if I was submitted and if I was, a follower of Christ and willingly following after him. And then just have come to have these realizations where it's like, this is even more applicable when you are fully submitted, because the more you submit, the more you are brought to your cross and asked to pick up your cross and go and die to yourself and die to everything selfish and everything wicked and everything sinful inside of you. And it is a great and terrible thing to be asked of. And it really is this thing where I've grown in this understanding of what a dreadful thing it is to fall into the hands of the living God, because he will always ask more than you are able to give on your own. And he will always ask you to do things that are impossible for you to do unless you submit yourself to him and allow him to work through you in this, right? And so, yeah, just one of these verses that my understanding of it as I have grown and matured has shifted so much from thinking this is a verse that, this only applies to those people over there, who are rejecting God and against God, and are going to be judged by him. And it was referenced in the same bit that I read this morning. It talks about Jesus learning obedience through what he suffered, and how God is a good father who disciplines all of the children that he loves. And it's that thing. It's a dreadful thing to fall into the hands of a living God, because he will always discipline you, because he loves you perfectly, and he will never let you slide and let you have a pass on any of the things that are bad for you and that are hindering you from walking in the identity that he has given to you. So yeah, I think that's all I got for this one. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.